Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Which Ways. I'm Colette and today I just wanted to share a really simple reading for 2025, and the question I asked was, what does 2025 hold for us as witches? How can we best navigate it, and what do we need to know? I hope you enjoy. I start by centering myself, and I like to cast a circle when I'm doing this kind of big picture reading, just to make sure that what comes through is in actual alignment with my intention. As I'm shuffling the deck, I'm already noticing a few things coming up, and I'm thinking about what is going on in my country, what's going on in the other parts of the world, that this could be a really pivotal time. I'm thinking of ways that we can keep ourselves strong, how we can help, what we can do, how we can best move forward magically towards the world that we all want to live in. And I think I'm going to start by just pulling a card for each element and going from there. And by the way, this is the Wildwood Tarot deck that I got for myself as a solstice gift. And if people want, I will do a full review on this deck. Okay, I'm going to start by putting down one card for what air wants us to know, one card for what fire wants us to know, one card for what water wants us to know, one card for what earth wants us to know, a card on top for what deity wants us to know, and I'm going to pull one card from the bottom of the deck for what the reading is not about, and in other words, to what not to focus on in 2025. So my first thought looking at this reading is that it's all about ways that we can keep ourselves positive and resilient for whatever challenges the year brings us. Tending to emotional happiness, intuitive and nervous system support, staying connected to spirit. And this reading is also a lot about the ways that we bring our magic into our day-to-day mundane life and tend to those details. It's a good year to really start having a personal daily practice, having a creative outlook, and a safe harbor as best you can manage, so that you can nurture that sense of your day-to-day life being magical and full, and so that you can be resilient. One of the things that I like to do when I'm doing a tarot reading is to count the number of major arcana and then use a little numerology to see what the overview is. And in this reading, there is only one major arcana. And so I feel like it's all about new beginnings, starting a new cycle, moving forward for good or for bad, but just kind of that new beginnings energy. We're in for something different than usual. Another thing I'm seeing is that it's all very water and fire related. In fact, the suits of the minor arcana are all either water or fire. So advice from the air realm is usually what we need to keep our mental focus on and what we need to not keep it on. So what we're thinking about, what we're speaking about, the stories we tell ourselves with our mind. And so the card I pulled for that is the 10 of Vessels. Let's see if I can get that in screen, in focus for you. There you go. 10 of Vessels is cups. 10, first of all, is about the beginning of a new cycle. Vessels is about water, and the word for this card is happiness. So now, of course, that does not mean being oblivious to things that are happening in your life or avoidant. It means trying to keep yourself in a happy state so that you are able to acknowledge the good things that do happen in your life and be resilient for things that are bad. And this is kind of always true in whatever year we're looking at. And so a couple ways to do that is to focus on gratitude work at the end of the day, just noticing what happened that was positive and really focusing on that. And then in the morning, first thing, try to, when you first wake up, have that first thought be something like, oh, my bed is so cozy. I'm feeling really good this morning. And just kind of start with that before you launch into tackling any of the problems or things that you need to deal with. Now, I recognize and understand that there are definitely times when that is not possible. You could be in a very dangerous or stressful situation. This is true in any year. However, if when you are in a not difficult situation, you have a daily practice of cultivating happiness, that will help you through more difficult times. So the next card I pulled was from the Fire Realm. Advice from there is going to be about creativity, passion, sex, growth, and transformation. So the card I pulled was Three of Bows, which is Three of Wands, and the name of the card is Fulfillment. And I'm just gonna show it to you here. I know the lights are being a little weird and my camera's being a little weird with focus these days. So what we have here is a fire card showing up as advice from the Fire Realm. So that's kind of a double whammy of fire. So it means that the way you work with creativity, personal growth, and transformation is going to be super, super important this year. Again, it's a real call to bring your magical and transformative and creative processes into your day-to-day life. And so I think this year it's going to be really important for you to focus on what is most important to you, what is most fulfilling, what has the most impact if you're doing outreach work for others, for friends, for community, in the world. Shift when you need to. The next card I pulled is from the Water Realm, and I pulled a water card, which is the Nine of Vessels, which would be the Nine of Cups, and the word that goes with this card is generosity. So again, because it's a water card showing up in advice from the realm of water, it lends a little more weight to us. And it's the 9. So what that tells us is to look to things that we've completed. So what this tells me is that things that you've done in the past around emotional work and fulfillment and working with being emotionally generous, close to people, supporting other people, receiving support yourself, that kind of work that you've done in the past is going to be really helpful to you this year. So remember the work that you've done. I also would say it's a year to not be complacent. Don't rest on your laurels, so to speak. Stay fluid to the needs of the moment. Okay, the next card is from the Earth Realm. Advice from Earth is about day-to-day mundane matters, taking care of your physical health, taking care of your finances, your physical objects, your home, tending to all those things. And the card that I pulled is a fire card, and it's the Two of Bows, and it's called Decision. So twos are always gates into something new, and it's important to really kind of focus on what is helpful to you, what you need to move towards, what do you want for yourself? Assess that. What is your vision for a better world, a better personal life? How can your magic be exactly what you want it to be? How can you bring what you desire and what you need into your mundane life? And again, I really want to be clear. I'm not saying, oh, just visualize that and it'll come to you. That's not the way we work in Western culture, but magic can put a finger on the scale and sort of be an influence. So use your magic to get what you need. Don't procrastinate. Decide and move forward on any kind of decisions that you need to make this year, especially around health, money, and resources. Okay, let's talk about that card at the bottom. That's what the reading is not about, which generally for me means don't focus on this. So it's the only major arcana, so that gives it a lot more spiritual and magical weight. And it was reversed, which is tricky to read because it's kind of like a double negative. So the card that I got, I'm going to show it upright, is the Mirror, number 12. And can you see that? Hopefully, yeah, maybe you can. There we go. I think that's good. Okay, so the Mirror in a traditional tarot reading would be the Hanged Man. And so when it's reversed, as I said, it's what it's not about, but it's a double reverse. So what that means is to not get stuck in the pitfalls of this card, because for every card in the deck, there are positive qualities and negative qualities. And so really try to do your best to not focus on that. So what I would say about that, first of all, is don't shy away from taking a spiritual journey this year. Don't be afraid to go deep. Don't be afraid to do shadow work. Don't be afraid to do healing work. If you're not resourced, that's totally understandable. Many of us are not. However, don't be afraid to go deep in whatever way you can. It's going to be a really important year to do that. It's also, as I said, a good year to dive deep into a spiritual path. Maybe buy some more books, maybe seek out a teacher, take some classes, start a coven, go online on one of the Discord groups and find like-minded souls to do your work with. There's many, many options today available. So great year to start on a spiritual journey. Pitfalls of this card can be being a martyr, being self-sacrificing. So avoid that aspect of this card, but do be willing to endure some discomfort in order to grow and change. And especially look for opportunities to do this around the autumn equinox. Now that timing might vary for a lot of you specifically, but this card, one of the things I like about this deck is it gives you some hints around timing. All right, let's talk about that final card that is what advice does Spirit or Deity have for us? And I pulled the Ace of Bows, the Spark of Life, and that's a fire card. And aces are ones, which again is new beginnings. And also they carry the energy of the whole suit within them, the whole energy of all the fire. And when they're upright in a reading, they are one big, huge yes. And so what Deity or Spirit wants us to know this year is very simple. I love when it's simple and it's not complex. I'm like, what is that? What does it mean? It's very simple. It's just to say yes more often to things that genuinely excite you, things that are creative, things that feel exciting, things that might help you grow and change. Be creative, use your voice, jump on new opportunities. So that is the advice from Deity. Overall, what we have is a lot of energy of new beginnings and new opportunities. We also have a balance of fire and water. So a lot about emotions, taking care of yourself, making sure that you are as taken care of and calm and resilient as you possibly can be, and that you try and stay as happy as is possible given your situation. And I know that bar looks different for all of us. The other thing is to say yes to spiritual growth, say yes to new opportunities, yes to new challenges, go deep, do your work, and it's a really good year to bring magic into your daily practices. let me know in the comments if you would like a full review of this deck. I am loving it, but I can already see that there are lots of ways that it's not going to meet everyone's needs. I am taking a January visioning and renewal week, so I'm not going to post a video next week. However, I am going to be putting things up on my community page pretty regularly, and I think you can only access that maybe if you're subscribed. I don't really know, so check that out. I put a link there on my community page to a publicly available spell on my Patreon page and a couple other things that are kind of fun and interesting. And also just let me know what you'd like to see for the future. I put a link to a poll up there. And so until next time, stay safe and be well.